in today's webinar, we're going to be looking at AI washing and what that actually means, how it impacts organizations, and how we as marketers, leaders, entrepreneurs, individuals need to look at protecting our brands, our own, or those that we work with, the budgets that we have access to, and also protect our strategy, the future of our organization from these false claims. So before we start, does anybody kind of know what AI washing is? It's very similar to other things that we hear within marketing, within kind of business. Has anyone come across this terminology yet when it comes to kind of AI use within their organization, within the platforms that they choose? Just let me know in the chat. Not at all. Okay, that's interesting. But has anyone heard of the term greenwashing or eco-washing? Has anyone heard of that? Yeah. So in reality, what we're looking at here is these false claims, these big over promises that these AI platforms, organizations, agencies that are using AI are putting out into the world. This is causing huge problems. Yeah. And today what we're going to do is basically go through those and how we can avoid letting that happen to the brands we work within or the brands that we work for. So everywhere that you look right now, like LinkedIn posts, product launches, investor calls, pitch decks, we'll see this magic phrase. Yeah. AI powered. It's the marketing equivalent of currently, at the moment anyway, sprinkling glitter onto this product, onto the product that they're selling, the process that they're selling, or the organization that they're selling, right? But what I always say is sometimes that glitter, it's actually dust. Yeah. And the intelligence that they're trying to showcase isn't quite as smart as it actually sounds. And so what we're going to do is strip away those buzzwords, remove that complexity today. And I want to go through with you what AI powered actually means. And then we're going to use that kind of foundational knowledge to actually look at how do we spot AI washing and make sure it doesn't cost us as an organization. Basically, we're going to do some sleuthing and we're going to remove fact from fiction throughout this whole process. And I'm not about kind of belittling or removing the capability of AI. If you've been to any of my other sessions, you know that this is my jam. This is the technology that I believe will make a huge difference to so many organizations, if used correctly and in the right way, of course. But what we're doing is basically allowing ourselves to truly build our future, our strategies, our processes on real capabilities and not marketing hype. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're really focusing on today. And why does this conversation matter now? Why is this something that I'm bringing up when I've always been kind of in the bandwagon that AI is wonderful, AI will fix all of your problems? And in reality, in the last couple of years, AI has gone from something kind of hidden in the back rooms of the platforms that we use in the back rooms of the tech companies, to now a feature that we can access directly through a browser tab. That's a huge change. Or we can access it in a marketing platform, or we can access it in a spreadsheet. Yeah. It's no longer this futuristic kind of idea that we see in these sci-fi films where there's someone on a computer with all this kind of code going across the screen. It's right here. It's in tools that we already use, or in tools that we can potentially purchase now and add to our marketing tech stack and the kind of organizational processes. Super exciting. Like I say, I'm not here to remove the quality or the kind of joy that we have when it comes to AI, but it's risky. Yeah. And because this technology is now suddenly accessible, and it's accessible to everybody, the gap between what's technically possible and what's being promised can get dangerously wide. Yeah. And businesses that don't understand what's really happening within this technology, we risk overpaying for features that don't exist. We expose ourselves to compliance issues or falling behind competitors who are much more AI effective. Yeah. And AI is starting to shape decisions at so many levels. So it's shaping our marketing strategies, our hiring processes, our customer experiences. And if we don't actually understand what that is, we can't evaluate it. We don't know if it's doing what we actually want it to do. And if we can't evaluate it, we're leaving things exposed. So we're wasting budgets. We have reputational damage and missed opportunity in reality. So that's why I'm here. That's why we're doing this together today. And I want to close that understanding gap before it causes you to have an issue in the future. Liz has just said, I think that AI now is a bit like when your boss discovered mail merge in the 90s and said you can just press a button and off you go. Yeah, absolutely. Without any idea how much work went into getting it right. Yeah. The boom of the internet, the boom of data collection, all of these technologies, if we look back, we have learned so much from, but we're failing to take that learning into actually doing this properly. And that's what I want to change doing these sessions with you. And one of the issues with AI washing is we have this hyper intense emotion that is fulfilled with this technology too. So you can't really scroll or go anywhere for more than like 30 seconds without seeing AI will replace 80% of jobs. This AI can run your entire marketing department. AI powered sales growth in 24 hours. But we know this is hyperbole. We know that this is intense overinflation, because no longer do we purchase those guru PDFs off the internet, which are like £50 to 10K months, right? We do have this sense that this isn't quite right. But even though these headlines, we can tell that there's something not quite right, we don't understand the technology fully, yeah, within organizations. So what tends to happen is we do get pulled in. These stories grab attention, and for good reason. They're more accessible. So why, if they're so accessible, why don't we just try it? And because anybody from a solo marketer, small startup, global enterprise can all get their hands on AI today, we get sucked in. It's just one click away. We can try this out. This is new. This is wonderful. This is powerful. Yeah. But accessibility does this thing. It fuels overconfidence. And because all of these tools are embedded in a beautiful UI, yeah, they are so easy to use. They talk to us like our friend, like as someone that knows us. It doesn't mean that equals ease or effective or safe. Yeah. This hype, this intense hype blurs reality. Big promises in headlines make it harder to tell the difference between proven capabilities and actually wishful thinking. This accessibility also produces like intense speed. So you can log in and be using AI, connecting it to data within 2 minutes. Yeah. And that skips traditional technology safeguards. So we can all deploy AI, but we don't really feel that that's what we're doing. We're just logging in, right? And because of this, we're not asking enough questions. We're not asking how it works, what data it uses, what are the implications of this, and what it actually delivers. We're getting sucked in. So we're allowing systems to make high-risk decisions. Like, consider marketing. We're letting it make content that promotes our organizations, our businesses, our products to groups of people, and we're just agreeing with it. We're going with the flow. And also, a wrong bet when it comes to AI isn't just wasted money in this instance. It can mean compliance violations, brand damage, lost market position. Has anyone seen an AI kind of headline where you went, oh, that's weird, or oh, I don't believe that? Let me know in the comments. But a lot of the ones I see are, this can do a whole marketing campaign from scratch to kind of release into the world, or fully AI power your project management. What? No. Like, has anyone seen anything that was particularly kind of devastating when you read it? Just let me know. And in reality, we need to start actually understanding this technology before it causes us problems, because regulation, compliance isn't moving as fast as this. So this was from not many days ago, and this is a wonderful kind of article that talks about, when it comes to false claims about AI, we are stuck in the Wild West, and we are. There's no person in charge. We're all in little kind of offcuts and bubbles in our own kind of ways. And when you buy into an AI tool that doesn't deliver what it promises, the damage is quite intense. It has a ripple effect. So the first issues you will see, and what I have started to see with the organizations that I work with and the research that I do, is that we get wasted budget. How much do you think people wasted on AI powered platforms that they didn't need? They had the automation already in their standard products last year. How much? Let's do it per month, because that might be easier. How much per month for a standard SME, so 10 up to 50 kind of individuals, how much were they spending additional per month for AI powered, which they already had access to in other ways in an organization? Oh, 4,000. That's a, yeah. Well, the average was £6,000 to £8,000 for an SME who had decided to go AI powered. It's ridiculous. Imagine what that money could be spent on elsewhere in kind of other ways. Yeah. Lost time. Now, I always harp on about how AI can actually speed up your processes, and it can when used correctly. But teams are spending months onboarding and integrating a tool that never performs. Yeah, so imagine all of that lost time within organizations. Compliance and privacy breaches. In the UK, in London alone, last year, how many compliance and privacy breaches do you think happened due to AI integration? When you're sending chats, you can send them to me, but also if you want everyone else to see, just make sure it says to everybody. Yeah, so it was 18,000 specifically to do with AI. That is huge. Like, it's incredible. It's especially when that breach, that compliancy breach, was only due to AI integration. We get damaged trust. So employees, customers, and stakeholders, they lose confidence when big AI promises flop. We have strategic setbacks, and a wrong choice isn't just that line in your expenses. It's the pebble in the sea of like risk when it comes to your organization. So then it starts to seep into your operations, your reputation, your growth. So what we're going to do is we're going to now look at what AI really means. Yeah, I'm going to go through with you what AI truly is. And in reality, it's people throw this term around like it's one thing, and it's not. It's a mix of different technologies. And that's when people who promote an automation software can get away with saying it's AI powered, when in reality, it's not that clever. So we have this automation that happens within AI technology. And what that is pre-programmed steps that happen automatically. So an example of this is your email platform sends a welcome message when someone signs up. And the key point here is it's fast and efficient, but it doesn't necessarily think, but it is a technology within AI. Yeah. So what you can see here is already when people are putting AI powered, we have access to all of this, a lot of this automation anyway, without it having that capability to truly think, which is what AI actually is. But automation can sit as a technology within AI. So we're already we're losing out as organizations because we're expecting this beautifully wonderful, capable thing, but it's just following rules that are set up by the system. Then we have rule-based systems. So it's a tool that follows the if this, then that kind of logic. So if I give you an example, that could be fraud detection that blocks transactions over a certain amount, for example. And the key point here is it's powerful for clear, fixed situations, but it can't adapt. It does not adapt. It does not have this capability to kind of innovate from the information that it is connected to. We then have machine learning. So what is that? This is a system that learns patterns from data and improves over time. So we're starting here to get into the technology that actually makes a difference, because it's not just following a rule, it's taking the information it is fed and then making better decisions or giving you iterations or options from that data. So we're starting to get better. This is where tools can really support us, those that are like machine learning powered rather than automation powered. And then we have artificial intelligence, and this is the broad umbrella for systems that can analyze, learn, and adapt, sometimes including automation and rules, and machine learning itself and deep learning, those kind of terminologies, they are a subset of AI. And an example here is a customer support chatbot that understands questions, finds answers, and adapts to new topics. AI isn't magic. Yeah, it's a combination of technologies that mimic aspects of human decision making. So when we hear AI powered, we need to recognize that it could mean any or all of these technologies. And the real trick in knowing what to expect out of these platforms is understanding which one you're actually going to get. Yeah. So what are the core components of real AI? Because it's all right to go and ask a vendor, okay, what technology is under the hood, and they give you a spiel. But there's also aspects of automation that aren't AI powered. Like, we have to kind of understand what we're actually trying to ask. So not everything called AI is truly intelligent. That's the key. Real AI has specific components that set it apart from automation or things like clever coding. Yeah. So the first one is the understanding of data, not just the processing of data. AI processes large amounts of data and it recognizes things that we might miss, or we haven't got the time to find. So this could be spotting unusual spending patterns that indicate fraud, for example. Core component number 2 is this learning and adaptation. Yeah, it takes the information and doesn't just act. It then takes that information and gives you a better outcome, a way to improve, a way to segment better, a way to market better. Yeah, it's giving you more, and it improves performance over time as well. And the difference from automation here is that automation repeats the same steps forever. Very like a machine belt in a car factory, does the same thing day in, day out. AI evolves. So it would take that automation and be like, okay, instead of this person came from our website, it goes into this emailing list. What AI would do instead, that was a tongue twister to get out quickly, is it would, as it comes into that kind of process, that automated process, it would then segment based on very niche or learned behaviors from that individual. So then it can segment dynamically rather than systematically. It also needs to have a level of decision-making capability. It needs to make decisions on its own. Yeah, it needs to weigh out options, assess risks, and then choose an action, sometimes in real time. We're getting more and more to that point where we're in the real-time kind of aspect. And this could be dynamic pricing engines adjusting based on market changes overall. And when we also look at AI, you also have things like generative AI. So that creates new content from existing patterns, or predictive AI that forecasts outcomes based on historical trends. So you can see that in reality, there's things that we need to be checking out. And it's not just going, oh yeah, it's AI powered. Oh, great. It's actually understanding what that AI has capabilities. What are the boundaries of that? What are we expecting this technology to do that it probably can't? It's never been able to do that. It's just because we believe AI to be this magical, wonderful, kind of mystical machine that is almost like a genie, like it can craft and create, but it doesn't quite work like that. We have to understand what type of AI, what platforms we're accessing, and then be able to make decisions from that. Another really interesting thing that's happening when it comes to us getting very drawn into this technology and believing it and not questioning it, like we understand like we work with normal technology, right? It's something called technomorphism. And who says thank you to their AI? Who says please? Yeah. Who says who when they talk about AI, who says, oh yeah, but it understands? Yeah. And it's when we describe or imagine technology, especially AI, in human-like terms or with human-like qualities. It's like anthropomorphism, so where we put like human traits on animals, but for tech. Yeah. So, so when we say things like saying an AI wants, feels, or understands, has anyone given theirs a name? I have a very good friend whose name is Bob, so she talks to Bob before she talks to anyone in her team. I have another friend who's called it Cindy. Yeah. And when we're giving them these human names, we're turning them into avatars, we're giving them personalities. And when we suggest emotions or consciousness, we're changing our mindset around this technology. In reality, AI-powered systems are nothing more than purchasing like a CRM, right? But we wouldn't be we wouldn't talk about a CRM as that it wants or needs or feels, but we do with AI technology. And when we see things like that are marketed to say things like the AI systems can think like we do, it's a problem because it distorts reality. We've been this technology has taken on this human feel, and AI doesn't have thoughts or feelings or intentions. It processes inputs based on patterns and data. That's the core reality of this. Yeah. It lowers our critical thinking. So when we're treating AI like a person, we don't want to be mean. Yeah, we stop asking the hard questions and we stop trying to understand how it works because we're taking it as face value as though we're talking to somebody like a human. It also shifts accountability. So when we're looking at things like, oh, well, the AI is deciding this, we then are overlooking the capabilities, the boundaries, and even the humans who built, trained, and deployed it. It's not their fault, it's the AI's fault, right? And it also fuels AI washing because humanizing this language, the kind of makes weak tech more capable because it thinks, feels, and understands. And giving AI human-like qualities makes it easier to sell from a vendor perspective, but it's harder to see its limits from a user's point of view. And we make better decisions about this technology when we treat it as a tool, not a colleague or a character. Yeah. Has that changed anyone's thoughts about how they talk to AI? You can let me know in the comments. But AI washing itself is when a company exaggerates or misrepresents the role of artificial intelligence in its products or its services, making it sound more advanced, more capable, more autonomous than it truly is. And it's on the rise. So AI is attention. It's the thing, it's the iPhone moment of technology, and it boosts its appeal. And are you more likely to buy a new kind of tech or subscribe to a new platform if it's AI powered? Probably at the moment. Yeah. Because it attracts that kind of FOMO, that this technology is new, I should be doing this. There's also that competitive pressure. So companies fear being left behind, and so do we. So they add AI claims and we fall for them. Yeah. And this kind of term AI, it's buyer curiosity, because many leaders sadly don't know the technical details, making it easier for marketing to stretch the truth and easier for vendors to change that kind of connection. So if you wouldn't accept organic food without a certification, why are we accepting AI powered without proof? Because AI washing inflates expectations. It hides real limitations and can lead to wasted resources, compliance risks, and trust erosion. So we really need to be careful. Now, who saw what happened with Builder AI? Did anyone see that? So Builder AI was a big promise in the AI world. It marketed itself as an AI platform that could build apps as easily as ordering pizza. That would get me. It's talking about food and it's about something I need to do, but it's going to take that technical challenge away from me, right? It had huge investment. It raised over 500 million from big names, really huge names like Microsoft, reaching a 1 billion plus valuation. Do you know what the catch was? Much of the work was done by hundreds of human engineers, not AI, not the AI that they advertised. Numbers started to not add up. They claimed that they had such a revenue, but real revenue was much lower, and there was a collapse. So in 2025, creditors took assets, the company went bankrupt, and most staff were laid out. But AI hype sells, but it sets us up for disappointment. Has anyone used a kind of platform and it's just not done anything more magical than the platforms that we had before? Yeah. And vendors, these sellers, and maybe us, maybe we talk about AI in an intense way because we want to sound capable. Yeah. So examples of inflated claims that I literally collected from my LinkedIn this morning. Our AI understands your business like a human. No, it doesn't. It follows patterns and data. Yeah. Instant AI-driven insights normally reflects preset analytics on a dashboard. Revolutionary AI will replace your team. No, AI is not a replacement for experience or expertise, and it often needs more human oversight, not less. So common kind of tactics to watch out for when choosing the AI technology that you want to work with: don't fall for the coming soon trap. Yeah, so selling AI features that do not exist yet. The black box. So people often use this to not explain the technology behind the system. Cherry-picked demos, so where you see that they show the best case scenario with heavily curated data. What I call buzzword soup. So packing pictures with neural, deep learning, next gen, synergy, all that kind of thing, without any tangible technology or explanation. And then Another one to watch out for is something called AI by association. So claiming AI because they use a third-party AI API, like even if it's not core to the project, it just connects to something. Yeah. So in reality, what I want you to start thinking about is if a AI claim sounds like magic, the first thing you need to be asking yourself, can I understand how this actually works? And can you show me how it works? Yeah, so we need to remove this AI hype. This technology is not going away. So the more that we kind of get on board and understand and kind of move with this in the best foundational way possible, the less removal we have to do in the future. The risks of mislabeled AI are huge, and I am seeing so many organizations need support in removing their AI integrations just as fast as I'm working with people to integrate their AI in like their kind of new processes, new platforms, new tech. And when AI isn't what it claims to be, your operations take the hit first. Yeah. So there are some key operational risks. We have slowed workflows. So teams waste time troubleshooting or working around features that don't work as promised. It's a resource drain. So there's hours spent on onboarding, training, and integrating a tool that fails to deliver any value. There's no value. We then get things like poor decision making. So leaders are relying on incorrect or inaccurate, incomplete AI outputs, and then they make the wrong decision. We're being steered in the wrong decision. We get fragmented processes. There's extra manual steps are reintroduced to fix gaps that AI can't handle. We then get morale damage. So staff lose confidence in new tools, making them more resistant to future tech adoption. A mislabeled AI tool doesn't just fail. It creates that ripple effect that slows everything down. And we cannot afford to be slow. Look at what is happening in the world. Look at the issues with inflation, trying to keep people in our kind of spaces. The more expectations that are put on onboarding a client, the more expectations that a client has of us when it comes to our outreach and our marketing. We can't afford to be slow. And then we have compliance and privacy risks. So if an AI tool hides how it processes data, you're not just buying tech, we're buying legal risk, yeah? And the key risks here are things like undisclosed data processing. So AI may store, share, or use sensitive data without clear disclosure. And if you've fallen for the, oh, it's just black box, it's just this technology we can't explain, how are you then ever going to deal with the reputational risk of non-compliance? You're never going to be able to explain how you use that data and why it made those decisions, which you're going to have to with the new kind of GDPR updates. We have regulatory breaches, so we can have non-compliance happening with things like GDPR, CCPA, or sector-specific kind of regulations. We could have cross-border data control without even knowing. So our data could be sent to restricted regions without your knowledge. And if you don't know where your data goes or how it is used, you can't protect your business or your customers. Then we have reputational risks. So when an AI promise kind of falls flat, the damage to trust can last longer than the contract, yeah? And when we get loss of customer confidence, client questions your judgment. Sadly, as well, as humans, we tend to only talk about the negative stuff, yeah? We have an internal credibility hit as well. So our teams, the people we work with, the people that work, like kind of pass on work to us, we get all of that kind of skepticism. Negative publicity. If you Google builder.ai, the stuff that is out there about all the individuals that were kind of part of that are huge. We have brand dilution, so the gap between our innovation claims and the reality that we are showcasing or what we're actually doing really weakens our market position. Reputation is incredibly slow to build, but incredibly quick to lose, especially when AI hype turns into disappointment. Yeah. So then we have like hidden costs of dumb AI. So a bad AI tool doesn't just fail, it bleeds your budget in ways that don't show up on the first invoice. It's like all of these unseen expenses. So support overload, extra tickets, vendor calls, IT to fix things, going back and doing things manually. It's just not worth it in some instances. We have integration workarounds. So we've put this wonderful, magical tool in, and it's not working. It's not doing what we expect it to do. So then we have to pay developers or buy add-ons to make the tool fit. And the cost of that is insane in some instances. We have to train sinkholes. So time and money spent teaching teams how to use features that don't actually deliver. We have lost opportunities, so missed chances to capture leads, improve efficiency, or gain a competitive edge. Churn costs. So abandoning the tool early means sunk costs in setup, licenses, and training. And it's not cheap. It really isn't. And sometimes the most expensive AI is the one that you thought was cheap, because you've got to fill in all of these gaps. And I think it's the same with any new technology. We have these teething problems, right? We have these things that go on behind the scenes. So the expectation is it could do this, but in reality, it's not as great. So why are we taking these risks? Why are we doing it? If the risks are so clear, why are we still falling into this AI washing trap? And actually, it comes down to a few kind of key aspects, actually. We have this hype pressure. So as organizations, we want to be seen to be doing the thing or selling the thing. Yeah. And the AI gold rush is this feeling that we do something with AI now or get left behind. We have shiny object syndrome. So it's exciting. Some of the AI demos I have seen are wild. They are glorious. And I'm like, wow, soon my laptop's going to be working for me while I am on a beach sipping my martini, enjoying the sun. It's not going to happen, is it? Like, it's not how things are. And buzzwords that trigger emotional, not rational decisions to use this kind of technology. There's also this kind of big knowledge gap. Yeah, we've had AI for years. It's just more accessible now. And without deep AI literacy, it's hard to challenge. It's hard to understand what to ask and what to do to make sure we don't fall for these kind of claims. We have competitive fear. So our competitors could be doing something with AI, adopting AI, adding AI, and we're like, oh, we need to adopt AI and add AI. And it pushes us to follow suit, sometimes without due diligence. And we also have assumed trust. Big brands, slick marketing, creates a false sense of credibility. But we're not just buying technology here. Yeah, because if we were buying technology, we wouldn't be having all these problems. We're actually buying a story. We're buying a rhetoric that is more fairy tale than reality. And unless we start verifying that story, we risk writing a very expensive ending for our organizations, yeah, and for our own kind of use of this technology. The next thing is that we have a huge policy gap, right? So why is all of this overinflation allowed to happen and this miscommunication of this technology? Well, compliance is being outpaced by technology. The speed of AI innovation has left many regulations, compliance, kind of frameworks hopelessly out of date. So policies were written when AI was a bit niche and quite slow moving. And new tools like generative AI have changed the game faster than the rules can kind of keep up. We have critical blind spots because there's no process currently for verifying vendor AI claims. That's not great, is it? So there's no like certification, there's no things that somebody has to meet to say that is AI powered. It's not great. And there are no clear rules on acceptable AI use or prohibited applications. We are getting some of those now, starting to trickle in. And there's little to no guidance on data handling, transparency, or explainability requirements. So they're critical. They're huge blind spots in reality. And we also have that should say weak link to purchasing. So policies exist on paper, but they're not embedded in procurement workflows. Vendors aren't required to prove AI capabilities or disclose how they work before we sign up. So an AI policy that isn't current, complete, and connected, it's like having a seatbelt in the trunk. It's there, but it won't protect you. It won't do what you need it to do when the time matters. So one thing that I want you to kind of do as you come out of this webinar is I want you to create an AI claims vetting process. Yeah, I want you to turn into the Sherlock Holmes of AI. I want you to be so skeptical and so full of cynicism that you grill every AI vendor, platform, integration that you come across. And this is because I want to support you in knowing exactly what you're buying. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to check and demand your specifics. Ask the vendor to clearly define what part of the product uses AI and how it works, and request examples of real outputs, not just marketing screenshots. We need to do things like request proof. So ask for case studies, performance metrics, look for repeatable results. Talk to people who have used this technology. Yeah, talk to those who have integrated this type of AI and look for repeatable results. So don't just go off the one good case study that they showcase. Get better success stories. Check the tech. Yeah, have your technical data team yourself review integrations, data flows, where the data's coming from, where the data's going. Confirm if it's proprietary AI, licensed AI, or simple automation. I want you to assess their data practices. So where is your data collected from? What do they do with the data? Who has access to the data? Verify compliance with relevant regulations. And then I really want you to pilot before you buy. So many subscriptions offer, if you talk to the AI-powered chatbot on the site, you will get a demo or a 30-day trial. And run a trial with your own data and measure results against vendor promises. Compare with non-AI alternatives to ensure that you're getting true value and it doesn't already exist as simple automation somewhere else. If the vendors that you interact with can't explain, prove, or demonstrate their AI, walk away. Yeah, because the real thing does stand up to scrutiny. It really does. And every vendor should answer the following questions. What exactly does the AI do in your product? Ask them to be specific, not just be like, well, it thinks and feels like you. No, sir. I want to know truly what this technology does within the product I am kind of connecting with. Is it proprietary or built on a third-party model? How was it trained? What data was it trained on? What measurable results can you show from other customers? How do you handle privacy, data security, and compliance? Can we see it work on our data before purchase? And what happens if the AI fails or produces errors? Has anybody asked what happens if ChatGPT fails or produces errors? Have you ever thought to ask that or check that out in the terms and conditions? Probably not, but it will fail. Probably has failed already. How do you spot that? How do you work with that, right? We're trying to understand how to really wrangle this technology. So this is starting to come into more and more discussions when it comes to AI within organizations, and that is what is acceptable AI within an organization. So the overall thing that we're looking for when it comes to, okay, this is acceptable use of this technology, is the first one is being transparent. So we need to understand the AI's purpose, the data use and decision-making process clearly. We need to have the system be able to demonstrate accuracy or ROI in real-world conditions. We need to be ethical, always ethical, no harmful or biased outputs, and the outputs we use from AI systems need to align with our company values. We also need to have compliance. It needs to meet all legal and regulatory requirements, data protection, strong scrutiny, and minimal unnecessary data collection, and humans must remain in control of final decisions where the stakes are high. So that is what you can kind of start basing what you class as, okay, this is acceptable AI use and it's acceptable AI technology. I'm happy with how this kind of works. And we need to bolster our AI literacy, because realistically, AI literacy isn't just a technical skill. It's responsibility, it's our opportunity. Understanding this technology allows us to pick the right things, to get better outcomes, to do better. And we need to kind of really dial in on this. So leadership does set the tone. And leaders must model informed decision-making about AI, and their curiosity and their scrutiny actually shapes how the rest of the organization approaches new tools. Marketers need sharper questions. So we have these skills to develop. So we need to be able to spot vague or inflated AI claims. We need to understand basic AI types and technologies and their limits. And how do we link AI features directly to measurable outcomes so we can actually prove the worth of this technology? We need to have good cross-department collaboration. I know sometimes marketing doesn't talk to sales, sales doesn't talk to support, all those kind of things, but AI affects everybody that touches this technology. And we also need to keep our education kind of continuous. So we can do regular internal briefings, we can do external training or certifications, for example, but when everybody is involved in this, from leadership to marketing to IT, and they all know how to question, test, and measure your AI, your organization stops chasing hype and starts building value. And AI isn't waiting for us to catch up. Yeah, the tools are evolving faster than our policies, our processes, and often our understanding. And one of the things that happened recently was within Apple Intelligence. It was churning out all of this incorrect information over and over and over again. And it was actually from kind of user kind of reports that it was brought up. That was the only way that this was kind of showcased. And AI capabilities double in days, months, and not years. So when you're kind of understanding and trying to recognize policies and things written about this technology, policies written even last year, they're probably already outdated. And the window for catching up is actually very short. But by updating your policies, your literacy and decision-making, it's not just good governance, it's actually like survival. It's the foundations of moving forward with this technology as an organization. And what are your next steps after this webinar? Yeah, because it's a lot of information that we've gone through today. And in reality, all we need to be doing is recognizing that this is technology. It is not our team member. Recognizing that we need to understand the core foundation of this technology, not get sucked into the over promises and the AI washing that is happening everywhere within this kind of technology, and have these processes in place like vendor vetting, AI scrutiny kind of processes, or else we will waste money on technology that does not support us. We will put our data into systems we don't even know what it's kind of using it for. So in reality, what I want you to do after this webinar is to start being more like cynical. I want you to look at this technology and go, actually, is it AI powered or is it Is it actually intelligent, or is it just automation? And really start to question how and what you're using this kind of for. So before we kind of end today, I just wanted to talk to you about the AI exchange. So this is a Slack channel that we have. It's totally free. And I put kind of updated information in there, information about upcoming sessions and various bits and bobs. It's a nice space to talk about this new technology that is changing so much for us as kind of individuals within any of the spaces that kind of access this information. So has anybody got any questions before we wrap up today's AI exchange? So Zena's just messaged, do you have any advice on establishing guidelines or policies on the use of generative AI in content creation? For example, if a third-party expert writes a blog for us. Okay, so yeah, so what you would do within your kind of your vendor contract or your outsource contract is you would have an AI expected use policy. You would need to kind of really dial in, because if they use Grammarly, that is AI powered now. So you need to be very careful. But if you do not want them to use, for example, ChatGPT to create the content, you can state that in that kind of contract. It would need to be in the kind of signing of working with each other, for example. Another great thing to do as an organization is have an AI policy that is easy to read on your website. This talks about your use of AI within the organization and how you're using this wonderful technology to provide better outcomes. But also within that, you could add in a section which is about expected AI use or not use by kind of people that are third parties to your organization. So you just need to start giving your boundaries and ensuring that the person who kind of works with you understands those boundaries too, and those kind of things, because there are things like AI checkers and things like that. So you could double check if you wanted to double check if they did or did not use AI. But if it's great content, then does it matter how it was created in the long run, as long as it obviously isn't copyrighted material from anywhere else. So that's where I would start. But what I'll do with the this PDF is I'll put some extra information about that for you, so that when this gets sent out, you can receive that information. Okay, has anybody else got any questions before we end today? No? Well, thank you so much for sharing this afternoon with me. And I will see you in a week's time. We've got a couple of extras going on at the moment. So I did one about ChatGPT's new agent mode. So that will be up on YouTube now. So you'll be able to check back in, because that technology came up pretty quick. And then I'm doing an extra session on the Online Safety Act and how that is like kind of something we need to understand within this technology as well. So have a great rest of your week. And if you've got any questions, please pop them to the college and I can make sure I get those answered for you in between these kind of AI exchanges. Have a wonderful day.